Do you give the ball to Mahomes first so now you know exactly what you need to do to either win the game or tie the game? And that's what Chris Jones said after the game, that Andy Reid and the Chiefs had told him and the defense during the summer to basically say, if we ever get in this situation, get ready because we're going to put you, the defense, out on the field first. Then we will know what we have to match. And if it's a touchdown, we're going to not only go and score the touchdown, we're going to go for 2 and end it.
Amazing.
So that would have been the plan had the Chiefs won the toss to start overtime in the same way that they had won the toss to start the game. And so that is the way that everyone is talking about it and looking at it now. I just wanted to put it out there because I didn't have a problem with Shanahan taking the ball first. I didn't. And as a matter of fact, you want to talk, and I understand that there's a lot of criticism of Shanahan's play calling. If there's any criticism of his play calling, it would have to be McCaffrey only touching it once after scoring the touchdown in a span of about an hour on the clock. Now, I understand that Kansas City had the ball towards the end, and then there's halftime, and they got the ball first, but they started throwing it in those possessions at the top of the third quarter.
After the interception, too.
Other than that, they weren't playing to not to lose. When they got the go-ahead touchdown, and by the way, missing the extra point on that go-ahead touchdown led to the overtime possibility that actually hit and everything that happened here. I thought he had his Dan Campbell moment from the Kansas City 15. They went for it on 4th and 3 and threw it to Kittle instead of tying the game with a field goal on the spot. Scored the touchdown, and if they had gone up 17-13, that would have changed the entire dynamic. They missed that extra point.
Yep.
They did not convert that extra point, and man, was that a huge development. So, and I thought Shanahan's play calling was terrific in that overtime. It was Chris Jones who just came free on 3rd and 4. Chris Jones saved the day because if you look at that play, a couple of guys were open. Purdy would have had his choice. So you just have to sometimes tip your cap to the Niners defense, to the Chiefs defense. And then that Mahomes scramble
he had
on
2.
3rd and short.
He had the 4th and 1.
Well, the 4th and 1 carry was kind of just, let's see if Bosa crashes and then I'll pull it.
Yeah.
If he does.
He had 2 big runs.
The other one was that was the backbreaker that put him in the red zone.
66 yards rushing.
I'm telling you, this is, a comment like John Harbaugh and a lot of coaches would have gotten and taken the ball first, I think.
The strategy makes sense.
But you just saw last night how it all plays out. If you get the ball second, you got all 4. You can play the game like Madden, like an 8-year-old plays Madden.
You're going for it on 4th down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's 4 down.
Until, though, you get into the field goal scoring zone. Now you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Now you got to think about it, which is why on that 3rd and 1, when Mahomes broke contain and put it in the red zone with his legs, that was a killer. Because if they were able to sack Mahomes there, like they had done so many times during the game, been able to maybe lock down Kelsey and Rice like they did many times during the first half, if they were able to put the Chiefs in a position of saying, are we going to go for it on 4th and short here in overtime? Down 3 when we got the butt kicker that can send this thing to a 3rd possession. Now the Niners have the ball in sudden death, which is the point of why they kicked it off in overtime figuratively by taking the ball. I thought a really wild scenario here is that if you're the Chiefs and the Niners are like, we'll take the ball, do you go on sides and shock them, try and get the ball? Now it's sudden death and all you need is a field goal to win it. And if you don't get it, well, then it's a short field and, the Niners will put up whatever points you need to know you have to beat anyway. You're getting the ball second. You know what you'll have to do. Sure, you're kind of coughing up the benefit of what almost happened, but a defensive holding bailed the Niners out of a hole to start overtime where they wound up in a 3rd and long, and it looked like they were going to punt and go 3 and out. Yeah, you're coughing up that opportunity to have your defense just go 3 and out, have a nice, quick defensive hold, get the ball, and now you're in a sudden death situation where you just a field goal will win it. You're kind of foregoing that when you attempt an onside kick. And we all know an onside kick in this day and age now is so very difficult,
but that's
odds-wise, to pull it off.
That's when people know it's coming. I was kind of thinking
but
the other way.
But the short field doesn't matter is what I'm saying.
Right, I was thinking the other way. You kick the field goal, you go up 3. Now the Chiefs are expecting you to kick off. You onside there, recover, game over.
Well, I mean, now you're giving also Mahomes a short field to just tie the game or win it.
Yeah, same situation.
You're losing the momentum, too, after just scoring. There's just so many ways about this.
Yeah.
That I was kind of, I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised, when I looked down at my phone heading to the airport and I'm reading all the conversation, like Shanahan blew it by taking the ball to start. I mean, there's a benefit to taking it and there's a benefit to kicking it off. And unfortunately for the 49ers, they stalled inside the 10, and the Chiefs did not. And that's the end of it.
It also just felt like throughout the whole game, the 49ers let the Chiefs hang around.
That was my point, too, about the Shanahan play calling. If you want to
could have been 20-3, or they should have been up 2 or 3 scores throughout the whole game and weren't.
When you have an opportunity to hold the Chiefs before and after halftime to just 3 points.
Yeah, man, you should be killing them.
That's exactly what you need to have happen. If you lose the toss and the Chiefs defer, you know what their gambit is here. Certainly, if they're behind like they were, they can come back quickly, or they can boat race you by scoring on each side of halftime. And instead, they only got 3, and then before halftime, and then they threw a pick because Bosa was everywhere, and Mahomes forced it. He forced it, and you get the interception, but then you go 3 and out, and you lose yardage. And then
stupid. You
get the Chiefs again punting, then you go 3 and out again.
Yep.
That was the moment. That's where, when you are going against a team, and everybody thinks because the Chiefs were as vulnerable as they've ever been and as flawed as they've ever been in this dynastic run, that you still don't have to be on your P's and Q's, and that any little mistake you make can be used against you by this dynastic team. Just because that dynastic team was so flawed that they don't immediately hit you back with the ultimate retort of a touchdown. But you still allow them to gather their steam.
Yeah, you let them linger.
You're going to regret it.
Yep.
You've got to hit them with a staggering blow and potentially, dare I say, knockout punch. Then. Otherwise, you're letting stuff like what we're talking about in overtime happen. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.